discuss chapter 5, which is the integumentary system. No? So this is still part of module 1. Let's start our discussion of the integumentary system or the skin. No? So the integumentary system consists of the skin and its accessory structures such as the hair, glands, and the nails. No? But we will concentrate more on the layers of the skin, no? Because in your higher levels, pagdating sa medical surgical conditions, higher levels of physical therapy, isa sa mga i-discuss natin is wound care, no? And the care of burned patients. So it affects the integumentary system. Okay? So integument, no, is Latin for covering, so it literally means covering. And the appearance of the integumentary system can indicate physiological imbalances in the body. One of the most commonly used diagnostic tools, no, that we utilize during examination of our patients is the appearance of the integumentary system. Sa kulay ng balat ng pasyente, you'll be able to tell not exactly the level of oxygenation, pero malalaman mo kung abnormal ang oxygenation ng pasyente. Because if there is bluish discoloration of the skin, anong tawag doon? What is the medical term for bluish discoloration of the skin? Anong tawag? Pwedeng i-google. Bluish discoloration of the skin. Bilis. Letter C. Letter Y. Letter A, cyanosis. Cyanosis indicates low oxygenation levels, no, of the blood. No? Yung nagkukulay blue or nangingitim. Very common among pulmonary and cardiac patients. Pag may problema sa heart, pag may problema sa lungs, babagsak ang oxygenation level. Makita mo, nagkukulay blue yung labi, nagkukulay blue yung muka, no? And even the nail beds, nagkukulay blue, no? Yung nail beds, yung pinaka tissue sa ilalim ng kuko natin, no? Ang tawag doon cyanosis. We have two kinds of cyanosis. One is central and the other one is peripheral cyanosis. When you say central cyanosis, you observe the face, no? And the mucous membranes related to the face. Ano yung ibig sabihin ng mucous membranes? Yung mata, no? Tapos yung labi. No? Kapag yung mata, yung labi, at sa mukha mo lang nakikita yung pangitim or pagiging kulay blue, it's central cyanosis. No? Kapag nakikita mo naman, sa nail beds lang, sa kamay lang, it's peripheral cyanosis. Nakuha? So pagka both, general cyanosis yun. And again, what does it indicate? It indicates a problem in the oxygenation. Pwedeng sa cardiopulmonary system, pwedeng sa heart lang, pwedeng sa lungs lang, or pwedeng both. And did you know that long-standing cyanosis among cardiopulmonary patients can also result to changes in the nail beds? No? Kaya, since the nails are part of the integumentary system, yeah, yung nail beds natin, maganda ring diagnostic tool sa physical examination ng mga cardiopulmonary patient. Kapag long-standing cyanosis, anong nangyayari sa nail beds natin? Yung tinatawag nating nail clubbing. C-L-U-B-B-I-N-G. Ayan, pwedeng i-google para makita nyo kung ano yung tsura ng nail clubbing. Sa nail clubbing, di ba, aside from makita nyo, nangingitim yung kuko, naiiba yung shape ng kuko. No? Ano yung nagiging shape ng kuko? Nagiging matambok, no, yung nail beds. Kasi di ba, pag tayo, pinagdikit natin yung kuko natin like this, yung kuko natin like this, you will see a very narrow diamond-shaped slit in between the nails. Subukan nyo. May makikita doon sa root ng nails, may makikita kayong maliit na diamond-shaped space or slit, di ba, in between your nails. It indicates a normal configuration of your nail. Ibig sabihin, wala kayong nail clubbing or fingernail clubbing. Pag iyan nawala, ibig sabihin nagdikit yung mga roots ng nails mo, you possibly have nail clubbing. Ang tawag doon is Shamroth sign. Nalimutan ko magdala ng pen. Again, Shamroth. S-C-H-A-M-R-O-T-H. Again, S-C-H-A-M-R-O-T-H. Shamroth sign. Nakuha? Ibig sabihin nun, may nail clubbing. So, the appearance of the integumentary system can indicate physiological imbalances in the body. Di ba? Minsan nga, pagka ang pasyente mataas ang BP, tandaan nyo, lalo na yung mga pasyenteng na stroke, yung mga pasyenteng matatanda na, okay, you have to be careful in giving exercises. Pag nakita mo halimbawa, habang nag-exercise yung pasyente, namumula yung mukha. Kunyari, stroke patient, ini-exercise mo, namumula na yung mukha. Hinto mo muna, kuhanin mo muna yung BP. Kasi yung flushing ng face during exercise is an indication of high blood pressure. Pwedeng mataas na pala yung BP ng pasyente. You have to be careful with that. Kasi baka mamaya, na-stroke na yung pasyente, mauulit ang stroke niya. Sa'yo pa inabutan. No? So again, the appearance of the integumentary system tells a lot about the physiology of the body. And as I have said earlier, the integumentary system is composed of the skin and its accessory structures. So ito na may nakita, although dito wala yung nails. What you're seeing here are the layers of the integumentary system, namely the epidermis and the dermis. Epidermis, dermis, and then you have the subcutaneous tissue or the hypodermis. Always remember this. Although it ends with the suffix dermis, when you say hypodermis, it is no longer part of the skin. It is your subcutaneous tissue. If you remember the layers that we have discussed in anatomy, natatandaan nyo pa yung subcutaneous tissue na dyan makikita yung adipose tissue. Iyan na yun, yung third layer. Again, it's no longer part of the skin. Ang skin natin, epidermis lang at saka dermis. And then you will also see yung mga accessory structures. Mamaya, babalikan natin yan. Now, what are the functions of the integumentary system? Number one, protection. It provides protection against abrasion and against ultraviolet lights. Makikita nyo mamaya, it's a layer of the epidermis that produce a pigment called melanin, which results to darkening of the skin. Yun yung nagsiserve as filter ng UVR na nanggagaling sa sunlight. So the darker the skin, the more protection you have against ultraviolet light. Sensation, because the skin has sensory endings or receptors. So, tingin kay Nico. Okay. So the integumentary system has sensory receptors that can detect heat, cold, touch, pressure, and pain. Halos lahat ng nerve endings natin nandyan sa balat natin. Napakarami nating nerve endings. That is why, in cases of burns, kapag ka inabot na at na-destroy na yung mga nerve endings na yon, pag gumaling na at peklat na yung pumalit, minsan, yung scar itself becomes insensitive to those sensations. Kaya, gagamit, pagdating nyo sa electrotherapy, and physical agents, isa sa mga precautions and sometimes contraindication for use of direct heat sa body natin is yung mga malalaking scar tissues. Hindi ka pwedeng basta-basta maglagay ng direct heat, heating modality sa mga scar tissues. Bakit? Wala nang pakiramdam ang pasyente dyan. Or kung meron man, mahina na. So the patient cannot tell you if yung ginlalagay mong modality is already too hot. Masyado nang mainit. Nasusunog na pala yung pasyente, hindi pa niya alam. Maliwanag? So kasama sa kinoconsider natin yun. We do not apply heating modalities to scar tissues. Okay? Then, vitamin D production. When exposed to ultraviolet light, the skin produces a molecule that can be transformed into vitamin D. We already have an inactive vitamin D, no, in our body. It is just converted, no, to vitamin D once tumama yung sunlight sa balat natin. That is why napaka-importante pa rin ang sunlight. No? Kasi, anong tawag dito? Diyan ang gagaling yung vitamin D. No, ang only source of vitamin D is sunlight at saka yung mga oral supplements. Diba? So, importante pa rin yung naarawan. And then, temperature regulation because of the blood flow flowing on the surface of our skin. No? And also the activity of our sweat glands. No? The skin help regulate body temperature. And you already know that. Kaya nga, di ba, pag mainit, ganun din nagiging flushed yung appearance ng skin natin. Bakit? Because the superficial blood vessels dilate in order to radiate more heat. Kaya pag nilalagnan tayo, ganun din, di ba? No? Flushed yung balat natin, namumula yung mukha natin in order to radiate more heat para ilabas yung init na nanggagaling sa loob. And then lastly, excretion. Small amount of waste products are lost through the skin and in gland secretion. Like in our sweat glands, no? Yung few amounts, no, of waste products are secreted by sweating or perspiration. So in summary, the integumentary system functions for protection, sensation, vitamin D production, temperature regulation, and excretion. Now moving on, as we have said earlier, the skin is made up of two major layers, the epidermis and the dermis. At anong sabi natin kanina? Hindi kasama yung hypodermis. Although, in classification of burns, di ba sa classification ng burns, ang traditional na ginagamit natin, first degree, second degree, and third degree. May bagong terminology na dyan. As you go to your higher levels, merong superficial, merong partial thickness, at saka merong full thickness burn na tinatawag. Hindi na ginagamit ngayon yung first degree, second degree, third degree. Pero, no, anong basis ng mga terminologies na yan? Ang basis nun is sa hanggang saang layer ba umabot yung burn? No? Epidermis lang ba? Dermis? Or umabot siya sa hypodermis or subcutaneous tissue? No? In your higher levels, you will learn how to evaluate burn wounds. Kasi iba-iba ang itsura niyan. No? Pag nakakita ka ng superficial burn, you'll be able to identify it. No? Kapag ka epidermis lang. Ha? Kapag ka partial thickness, ganoon din, you'll be able to identify it. Kasi iba-iba yung itsura ng burn wound. Iba-iba ang itsura ng sugat. Iba-iba yung itsura ng scar na tinatawag. No? You will learn how to evaluate that, no? sa wound evaluation. Anyway, so again, you have the epidermis and your dermis. The epidermis is made up of epithelial tissue. When we say epithelial tissue, if you go back to our introduction, what are the four major kinds of tissues in the body? Epithelial, connective, muscle, and nervous tissue. Right? Di ba? Epithelial, connective, muscle, and nervous tissue. Ano ulit ang ibig sabihin ng epithelial tissue? Covering and lining. Di ba? Of body surfaces. Yun ang function ng epidermis. It's made up of epithelial tissue that lines and covers the outside surface of the body. And if you will look at the epidermis, no, it is made up of several layers of cells. Maraming layers of cells. Why do you think na ganun ginawa ang epidermis natin? That it is made up of several layers of cells. In fact, if you will describe that, ang tawag dyan is stratified epithelial tissue. When you say stratified, kasi iba-ibang layer siya. Anong purpose nun? Since its main purpose is for protection, kahit magasgas yan, depende na lang kung sobrang lala nung gasgas, pero usually, no, pag na-scrape off yung outer layer, meron pa ding next layer na magpo-protect. No? That's the main purpose of the epidermis. And the epidermis can be divided into 5 structural regions. From the most superficial to the deepest layer, ito lang yun yung epidermis lang yun from the most superficial to the deepest layer, ang tawag natin is the stratum corneum, stratum lucidum, stratum granulosum, stratum spinosum, and stratum basale. Stratum is Latin for layer. Okay? Ngayon, so i-describe natin isa-isa bawat layers. The stratum corneum, yan yung nakikita nyo sa surface ng balat ninyo. Kung gusto nyo mas ma-appreciate yan, kung meron kayong macro lens sa cellphone, no? Tsaka nyo idikit ka sa balat nyo, kitang-kita nyo yan. Yung mga, yung pinaka-outer layer ng epidermis. No? Na parang ano yan, parang mga, ano tawag dito? Scale. Parang siyang mga scale. No? Na overlapping to each other. That's the epidermis. And did you know that those cells in the stratum corneum is made up of keratinized dead cells already. Yang nasa ibabaw, no? Kaya yan flat na, pag tinignan mo yan actually sa microscope, wala nang nucleus. No? Wala na siyang nucleus because these are already dead cells. Dead cells na may kasamang keratin. Diba? Ang keratin, ano yun medyo matigas na protein. Maliwanag ba? Yan yung na-scrape off pag nagpa-body scrub ka. Pag naghilod ka, that's the outer layer, the stratum corneum. This is also the layer that sheds off pagka nagpapalit tayo ng balat. Nakukuha? No? Kasi di ba minsan, mapapansin nyo lalo sa anit, no? Minsan mabilis mag-shed off, lalo na pag binabalakubak. Di ba? O kaya naman pag sobrang dry ng skin, lalo ngayon, malamig ang panahon, nakita nyo kahit yung mukha, minsan parang mayroong balakubak na natatanggal. It's the stratum corneum. Na? Again, pag nagpa-diamond peel sa mukha, yan yung natatanggal, the stratum corneum, kaya ang na-expose yung mas younger layer of the skin. Does it mean pagka nagpa-diamond peel po ako, no, ang naka-expose na yung stratum lucidum? Hindi. Because no, yung ating epidermis undergoes constant germination. Anong ibig sabihin ng germination? No? Tuloy-tuloy yung production ng new cells in the stratum basale. It undergoes constant mitosis. So you already know what is mitosis. Di ba? No? So cell reproduction, and then once the new cells are produced, they are pushed in an upward direction. Habang umakyat sila sa taas, napipipik ng napipipiyan so that they become flat. So hindi ibig sabihin na natanggal yung outer layer, wala nang papalit dyan. Tuloy-tuloy lang, no? Yung germination coming from the stratum basale. And that is the reason why pagdating sa taas, flat na siya, pero sa baba, anong shape niya? Cuboidal pa. And what did you notice? Yung nasa bottom, puro may mga nucleus pa. Ibig sabihin, these are viable cells. That's why pag ito, nasugatan, pag tinusok mo ng karayom, ewan ko kung ginagawa niyo yan nung bata kayo, diba? Tutusukin ng karayom, yung pahalang na ganon, tapos hindi dumudugo. Diba? Hindi dumudugo, especially pag sa palad, kasi makapal ang stratum corneum natin dyan. Thick skin yan eh. Diba? Makapal. Now, hindi siya dudugo because we do not have blood vessels here. Because these are already dead cells with keratin. Saan makapal yan? Again, dito sa palms of the hand, lalo na sa soles, no, of the feet. For protection kasi yan. Okay? Maliwanag tayo dito. Na? So remember, nung mag-board exam kami, ang para hindi namin mapagpalit-palit yung layers niyan, we remember corneum, lucidum, granulosum, spinosum basale, kulugo. No? yung mga first letters, kulugo sa bato. No? From the most superficial to the deepest layer of the epidermis. Maliwanag? Then, kung yung epidermis is made up of epithelial tissue, by the way, isa pa palang function ng epidermis is to act as a barrier for water loss. Di ba? Kaya hindi tayo basta-basta maglalabas ng tubig, tapos yung tubig din, hindi basta-basta papasok sa loob ng katawan natin. Let's say, for example, lumubog ka sa swimming pool, no? Hindi pwedeng parang sponge na ihigop ng tubig yung tissues mo. Hindi. It's because the epidermis acts as a waterproofing barrier. Nakuha? Na? So, barrier ang epidermis. Okay? So, again, let's move to the dermis. Ito namang dermis is made up of connective tissue. It is much thicker yung ating dermis. Kung baga sa hayop, kung baga sa baka, yan yung reason kung bakit matibay, yung cowhide na tinatawag. Di ba? Yun ang mga usong sapatos ngayon, di ba? Ang tawagan nila cowhide. No? Yung balat ng baka, ginagawang sinturon, ginagawang sapatos. It's because of the dermis. Bakit ganun katibay ang dermis? Because it's made up of collagen and other connective tissues. Yan yung mas makapal. Mapapansin nyo, nandyan ang mga blood vessels. Kaya pag ang wound umabot sa dermis, may bleeding talagang mangyayari. Kasi nandyan ang mga blood vessels natin. Okay? Epidermis, hindi pala ako nag-ano. Yan ang diniscuss ko kanina. Okay, yes. Excessive sloughing off of the stratum corneum from the surface of the skull. Ayan na yan, that drop, sinabi natin kanina. No? Ito hindi ko pala nasabi kanina. If the skin is subjected to friction, yung stratum corneum, no? Okay, it produces a thickened, no, layer, mas kumakapal siya, called callus or calio sa Tagalog. Di ba? Yun yung kinukudkod sa talampakan ng mga nagpapa-foot spa. Di ba? Yun yan. So, over a bony prominence, the stratum corneum can thicken to form a cone-shaped structure called corn. So, usually saan madalas nagkakaroon ng corn? Sa ilalim ng joint ng big toe o kaya sa ilalim ng joint ng fifth toe. Usually, pagka mahilig kang magsuot ng mga pointed shoes na matitigas yung loob, yun yung nagkakaroon ng corn. No? Yun ang tawag. Now, going back to the dermis, tulad na sinabi ko kanina, dermis is made up of connective tissue. What specific type of connective tissue? Collagen. Hence, dense, collagenous connective tissue. No? Which also contains fibroblasts, adipocytes, and macrophages. Kaya ang balat natin, hindi basta-basta, di ba, nagte-tear off. No? Okay? It's because of the density of the collagen present in our skin. Na pag tumatanda, habang tumatanda, the quality and the amount of collagen present excuse me, decreases, which also results to what? Sagging of the skin. Diba? Nagsasag yung skin natin dahil nababawasan yung collagen, tapos nagdi-decrease din yung quality ng collagen. Okay? Yun, nagkakaroon ng sagging dito. Diba? No? Tapos kumukulubot siya. Yeah? That's one of the effects of aging. Okay? Ayan. So, saan makikita yung mga nerves, hair follicles, and smooth muscles and glands? Yun. Nandoon sa ating dermis. No? Ngayon, if you will look at the collagen fibers, kita ko lang. Basahin ko muna. If you will look at the collagen fibers, no, sa skin natin, sa dermis natin, they are oriented in many directions, no? Like this. Yan. Sa surface, syempre hindi mo makikita yan dyan kasi ang nasa ibabaw, epidermis. Ang collagen fibers, nasaan? Nasa dermis siya. Collagen fibers are oriented in many directions. Kung titingnan mo daw ang dermis, na, sa surface ng skin natin, na yung mga guhit na yan yung orientation ng collagen fiber. So what does it tell you? Like for example, sa abdomen natin sa harap, mas marami daw ang collagen fibers that are oriented horizontal. Nakukuha niyo yung point? Yun ang ibig sabihin. Although ang collagen naka-criss-cross yan, mas lamang yung mga collagen fibers na naka-orient na pagkakito. Nakukuha niyo? Okay? Ang tawag doon, no, are called cleavage lines. Again, these are called cleavage lines, no, sa dermis natin. Anong nagdidictate ng cleavage lines? It's the orientation of the collagen fibers. Now, what's the significance of that? Actually, sa ating physical therapy, wala masyado. But among the surgeons, basta lahat ng doktor na nag-o-opera, na nag-i-incise sa balat, significant yan sa kanila. No? The incisions, no, are usually made, anong napansin nyo? Compare the two. Okay, compare the two incisions. The first incision, paano ginawa? Na direction ng incision? Across the cleavage lines or perpendicular to the cleavage lines. Ito, anong incision ang ginawa? Parallel to the cleavage lines. Take a look at the result. Alin ang mas naggagap yung wound? Alin yung mas may tendency bumuka yung wound after the suture? Yung made across, no, the lines, no, the cleavage lines. That is why kapag gumawa ang mga doctors ng incision, no, mas pinipili nila parallel to the cleavage lines para less yung tendency na mag-gap yung wound, less din yung tendency na magkaroon ng maraming pekla. Naintindihan? Kasi pagka mas nag-gap yung wound, mas merong scar na mabubuo dyan. Okay? Naman po ha? No. Pero kung saradong-sarado yung wound, no, sa pagkakasuture niya, halos wala nga makikita scarring. Although there is one disorder of scar formation. Are you familiar with that? Yung keloid formation. K-E-L-O-I-D. Keloid formation. Keloid is abnormal scarring. Ano nangyayari sa abnormal scarring? It is when the scar, no, is beyond the boundary of the original wound. Mas malapad yung peklat kaysa dun sa original wound. Ang tawag doon, keloid. Meron talagang mga keloid former. Na? Okay? Meron talagang mga keloid former na kapag gumaling na yung sugat, guhit lang yung suture, pero parang higad yung na-form na scar. Meron din tinatawag na hypertrophic scar. What's the difference between a keloid and a hypertrophic scar? Ang hypertrophic scar naman, hindi siya kumalat. No? It's still within the boundary of the original wound, pero mas matambok siya. Mas maumbok siya. So, marami pa ring scar tissue na na-form. No? So, ano din yun? No? Problem din yun pagka hypertrophic scar. Saan problem yung mga scars na yan? Sa amputation. No? Let's say, for example, ang pasyente na amputate, you have to remember, di ba? Ang goal, no, after amputation is for the patient to fit a prosthesis, para makapag-fit ng prosthesis. Kung lower extremities yan, kailangan ang stump, ang tawag natin doon, stump yung natira. Diba? Pinutol, ang natira, ang tawag dyan, stump. No? Dapat ang stump well healed, tapos walang abnormal scarring. Kasi pag merong abnormal scarring yan, let's say, yun nga, nagkaroon ng hypertrophic scar, nagkaroon ng keloid, ang tendency niyan, tatama yun dun sa wall ng prosthesis. Dun sa socket ng prosthesis. Maliwanag ba? So, magkukos pa yun ng discomfort sa pasyente. So, magkakaroon ka ng problem dun sa rehabilitation ng pasyente. Kaya, kasama sa mga aaralin natin, no, pagdating natin sa amputation, yung pre-prosthetic rehabilitation ng pasyente. And when you say pre-prosthetic rehabilitation care, Yun yung care of the patient immediately after, no, amputation surgery. Tapos bago siya mag-fit ng prosthesis. Kasi kailangan mong alagaan talaga yung stump. Ano yun, mamamaga pa yun actually eh. No? So kailangan pa nating i-shrink yun bago natin i-fit yung prosthesis ng pasyente. No? Hindi yun basta-basta lang. No? Ay, akala nyo yung di ba may mga politiko, no, sinasabi magdo-donate ng prosthesis, no, sa mga amputee patient. Hindi ganoong kasimple yun na, putulang paa mo, bibili tayong prosthesis, bibigay ko sa'yo. Hindi. Okay? Hindi. Kailangan nila ng doktor doon, kailangan ng physical therapists, kailangan ng occupational therapist. Hindi mo basta-basta isinasalpak yun. Tapos gagamitin na ng pasyente. No. No? Napakaraming pre-prosthetic rehabilitation care na kailangan gawin doon. Okay? Hindi ganun kasimple yun. Okay, so let us continue. So again, ang tawag doon sa na-create, no, nung orientation ng collagen, these are called cleavage lines. Okay? Ngayon, if you will go back to this illustration, you will notice that the top of the dermis, yung pinakaibabaw ng dermis, merong mga parang mga hilly projections, di ba? Alun-alun siya. May mga nakaumbok na projections. Ang tawag doon, these are called dermal papilla, no? Or pag plural, dermal papillae. What's the significance of the dermal papillae? The dermal papillae, yun na nga yun, no? Yung projection doon sa upper part of the dermis. Okay. Kapag tiningnan mo sa kamay at sa paa, no? Okay? Yung dermal papillae, no? At doon sa tips ng digits natin are arranged in parallel curving ridges. And they are even reflected towards the epidermis. Kaya makikita mo, yung dulo ng daliri natin, may mga circular curve patterns, which we call the fingerprints. Yung fingerprints na yan, ang responsible dyan ay nasa level ng dermis. Hindi lang yan sa epidermis. Kaya kapag niliham mo yan, for example, para mabura, no? Pwedeng maging shallow, pero pag nag-regenerate yung skin mo, babalik yung fingerprints and toe prints mo. Because nasa level siya ng dermis natin.
So hindi totoo yung sir pag binubura, hindi na yun babalik?
Hindi. Babalik siya. Kasi
Kasi
magre-regenerate yung balat natin. Magre-regenerate pa rin yung epidermis
Paano pag
mo.
sinunog?
Ayun, pag
Hindi na
sinunog
talaga.
mo, talaga, mawawala siya. Kaya lang, di ba? At siguro yung sa mga sci-fi na movie,
Oh, yun nga, sir.
buburahin yung identity, mga
Yun
ganun.
nga, sir.
Kasi unique yan eh. Kaya nga maganda siyang form of identification natin. Unique yan. Or pag sinunog mo talaga, siguro sa level ng dermis, mawawala talaga siya. Kasi made-deform eh. Di ba? Pero sabihin mo yung i-scrape lang, no, at the level of the epidermis, mawawala siya temporarily, na pwedeng hindi siya ma-detect ng biometrics. Pero pag nag-regenerate yan, nandyan ulit siya.
Sir, pag nasunog, tapos magre-regenerate po.
Pag nasunog, pero halimbawa, depende sa level. Halimbawa, ang nasunog hanggang sa level na ng dermis. Di ba? Na-deform na yung dermis. Wala na rin yan.
Sir, iba ang fingerprint na or wala na talaga?
Pwedeng wala na. Kasi usually, ang regeneration, pagdating natin sa wound healing, ang regeneration, usually, pag peklat na yung pumalit, nawawala na yung arrangement. Di ba?
Gusto ko na yung sir, panibagong identity na yun, sir. Kapag naiba yung...
Hindi na yun pwedeng gamitin as your identification. Di ba? Hindi na siya magagamit as your identification. Okay? So, yan. So, it's almost 2:30. Hinto na muna natin dito. Wala tayong quiz on Wednesday. Tatapusin natin yung discussion.
Kailan ulit quiz, sir?
Ang quiz natin,
Friday.
Friday.
ID.
Sir, tungkol na dito sa ano?
Okay? See?
Sir, hindi nakasama yung mga apoptosis.